guys. How's it going? Hope you're having a good, pleasant Sunday afternoon. If not, there's always another days to come. It's KLA, Cloud the Wanderer, and I was the intro of my guest, Porshia Birdsley. How you been?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm full. I'm cool. I'm cool. Yeah, I
Good.
was looking forward for this interview. Thank you for
Yeah,
giving me the opportunity to talk with you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And thanks for asking me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I seen you on Instagram, and I was really impressed of you competing in strong women.
Yeah.
Because I had like some guests that that were strong women, but not a lot. A lot of times I'm like interviewing like female bodybuilders of bikini or the OCB organization and stuff like that. So when you
Absolutely.
reached out, yeah, when you responded for my DMs, I appreciated it.
Yeah, no
So
problem. I kind of filter through and then I look into it. So I kind of looked at your page and saw that you're like legit do interviews and stuff. And I thought that it'd be cool to bring a little bit different side, like with the strong woman, to your interviews, since most of them, like you said, are mostly bodybuilding.
yeah, but how you got into the strong women?
So basically, I've kind of always been a gym rat. So I've always, growing up, we kind of, I feel like my generation, so I was born in 91, that we kind of just grew up to like try to be as skinny as possible. And like, I feel like exercising has always just been part of my life, just to help me to try to stay as thin as like my body would like allow me to. And I had two kids and a husband. I've been married 16 years. And so, um, the gym and exercise has always been a priority. Well, I got into running back in 2021 to help this client because I'd never went into like running. I was doing more like CrossFit workout of the day type exercises. And then when I began training for half marathons, I did Zion at night, which I took seventh out of 168 women in my class. And I picked the like darkest time. So I fell down like three times. It was
Mm,
kind of a fun experience. And then I did the Grand Teton half marathon as well. And then I kind of switched gears. I was like, hey, now that I've done a couple of half marathons, I kind of want to just get into seeing strength training. Like, where can I go with that? Because I never had trained that before. So that's back in 2021, the end of 2021. So we're talking like November of 2021. And I was like, oh my goodness, my bench press. Like, I can bench press more than a lot of other females that have been doing this for a long time. And so since I found out that I was naturally really strong at bench press, like I think with never doing it, I was able to bench press 175. And so then I just grew up from there, 225. I can do it for like more than 3 reps now. So, but granted, I don't do a lot of bench press because strongman doesn't really require us to. But so I got into that, and then Chad Lowry, who was my strongman coach, and he's one of my good Christian friends. He lives in Montana. He came down to work at our hospital. Well, my gym downstairs that I'm the director of is 19,000 square feet. So it's a huge gym. He come down there to see if he could do his strongman training while he was working. And
okay.
he's the one that I told him, I was like, hey, there's powerlifting going on in Casper because I'm out of Wyoming. He goes, no, I don't do, he's like, I don't do powerlifting. He goes, I do strongman. And I'm like, well, what's that? Like, I kind of seen the big burly men on like TV lifting the stones and all of that. And it just didn't seem that interesting to me at the time. And
Right.
so, I actually said, well, then why don't you hold like a little, a seminar to kind of explain to the people in our area what strongman is, some of the lifts and stuff. And he goes, yeah, I would love to do that. He said, so he came down, he did that back in October of 2021, I believe. Yes. And, he showed us like 5 different lifts and the log was one of them. He brought his log down. And so he had me do it. And I, brought that log up, brought it up, pressed it up, he had 25s on at the time. Anyways, he was looking up on his phone by the time we had like progressed through the lift. And he's like, Porshia, you could already be breaking records and you've never even touched this implement before. And I was like, really? I was like, I'm really that good at this? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you need to try it. And so with his encouragement to try it, I signed up for a novice competition in Cheyenne. That was April of 2022. That was my very first competition. It was kind of funny because I didn't really put my heart into it at the time. I was kind of going through the motions of training. Like I was doing all of the things, but I was also not like applying my full potential because I was thinking I'm just going to try this and be done. And so to my surprise, when I went there and just defeated the competition, took first out of 8 women, qualified for nationals. Nationals was only 2 months from my very first competition. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had so much fun. So it wasn't only that I did well, but like I genuinely had like a really good time. And the camaraderie that's in the sport is pretty awesome. So I was like super excited. And then from there, I kind of just wanted to gain experience. Like, what are all these different lifts and events? And like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? So it's kind of just like getting used to strongman. And then after in 2023 when I went to nationals, I took second in the nation, and so that was only a year into strongman. And then now I've competed on almost all of the biggest platforms, official strongman games, the Arnold's. I just got back from there. That was the end of February. What else? I was right. February 28th through March 2nd. Yeah. And then pro women's worlds. I qualified for that from taking second in the nation. And so I went and won a belt there in Arizona. So that was fun. So I've been on a lot of big stages. I'm actually getting geared up to go to this nationals, and my goal is to win. And I have Travis Ortmeyer. He is my trainer, or my coach, I should call him. He's coach. He's going to help me. He has like 62,000 followers on Instagram. He's like the GOAT of strongman. They call him the Texas Stone Man. If you look him up, he's super amazing at strongman. And so he's been helping me to get my weaknesses better. He's been helping me to work on my technique and form and my strength so that my pressing becomes just like solid every single time. So yeah, everything's been going so well, and he's really confident that I can go take a title in June. And then 2 weeks later after nationals is Pro Strongman League. So that's another huge platform to be on. I've not competed at that yet. And so I'm going there. And then I qualified for Static Monsters World Championships in Dublin, Ireland in August. So August 16th. And I'll be going to that as well. So I have 3 big comps coming up.
Yeah. Like in the competitions, are they like the certain tasks that you do, is it like different from the other competitions?
Yes, that's a good question. So every competition is going to have typically 5 events, and they're gonna all be different depending upon what they choose. So obviously there'll be max logs at several ones that you go to, like a max log clean and press, but you're not guaranteed that every competition is going to have a max log clean and press. It could be things that we know to expect is going to be either maximal strength testing, grip strength testing. It's going to be like endurance. So say you're doing 160-pound log clean and press, you're going to do it as many times as you can in 1 minute. So multiple reps. All of strongman, typically they give you a minute cap. So it's as fast as you can in a minute, as many as you can in a minute. All of it is different. And so they send you a list of rules, the events. That's what's kind of fun about it. And that's what's different than like powerlifting or weightlifting, where it's going to be the same lifts, going to be judged very strictly. Strongman has rules, like we're not allowed to sumo pull. That's just like a no-no in strongman. But outside of that, you can hitch, you can use straps. And so there's things that you can do that other competitive sports wouldn't allow. So because strongman kind of makes it fun, because it's just like if you get it up, you get it up.
Yeah. What's the sumo pull like?
Sumo's where you have your feet wide apart and your hands in between. So they call it cheating just because like you don't have to pull as far off of the ground, where with a standard you have to really use all of the muscles. and you have a farther distance to pull from. So
Yeah.
really in strongman, you just have to pull standard.
Yeah, yeah. I've been looking at some of the competitions and stuff like that. I was watching the Clash of the Titans. I know it was 3 years old, but
Oh yeah.
like to understand like what goes on in the sport, in the strong women competitions. I know like they do like the circus dumbbell, like,
Yep.
and for each um like each lift, like you lift like 100, and then it moves up to 125, then
Hmm.
145, and so on. You
Yes,
probably
all of
know.
them are different, and some of them
Yeah.
might be that they pick one weight, so say 100 pounds, and you're just doing it. You get it up, and they give you the down call, and then you do it again. So
Yeah.
every competition's different, but yeah, like what you said, you could be doing several different jumps, or you could be doing a max. So then you make your calls, like I want to jump 10 more pounds, I want to jump in at 20 more pounds. You get to make your call. Typically, though, once you miss, I mean, you're usually out when you miss. So you want to be strategic in the way that you choose those. So
What, like, in your first competition, like what was it like? Was there like one, like a task that was challenging for you?
so early on, I just found out that I had like a lot of strengths in strongman. I found out that I was good at a lot of things. But then I
Okay.
soon found out, well, I'm just telling you what I soon found out, that I was one of the weaker deadlifts. Like and
Mhm.
I wouldn't say like, if I just am going against an average lady, I have a really good deadlift. But if we're talking about me going against the best in the world, I have a very weak deadlift. Does that make sense? So I've been working with Travis on trying to improve my deadlift abilities, because it's definitely like the thorn in my flesh. However, like I said, praise God, I have such good strengths in a lot of other things. Like, so take for Arnold, for example. I
Right.
made the top six. I went into the finals in third place. And this is the best in the world. These girls, most of them have been competing way longer than me. And so for me to be able to do that was super encouraging to me, and it was one of my goals. And even in doing so, I did not do very well compared to all of the other competition in the deadlift. But what really helped me is because of those other events that I was really, really good at, it gave me enough overall points to still be at the top. So
Mm.
granted, the more I get that deadlift up there to either hang in the middle of the pack or even edge up there in the top range, then I'm going to have way better chance, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's the nice thing about
Oh,
strongman, is you don't have to be the best at everything, but you can't
right.
really have a bad, can't have a bad event either.
Yeah, I do see some people struggle in certain events, and then
Exactly. There's
some
a lot of
some.
women that can't press very good. Like that's actually
Yeah,
probably more common to
right.
find, is women struggle with the pressing. And I was just gifted with like upper body strength, and like that's just my jam. But I have really strong legs too. Like, so if you see me do a yoke, at the Arnold, I took first in the yoke. I was the fastest with the yoke. I had 480 pounds on my back, blitz down 30 feet, turned around, blitz back 30 feet in 12 point some odd seconds. And so, and just yesterday in training, even after, which we haven't talked about it, but I did get an injury at the Arnold in the finals.
Mhm.
But I've been rehabbing it back together, and like my ankle's doing a lot better. And I was able to do, we're doing speed work this week. And so I did 400 pounds yoke for 80 feet in 8 seconds. So
Yeah.
pretty good.
So we got a guest. His name is All the Rage, George Page. Howdy, folks. Hey, what's going on, George? And he got some comments. Portia, is there someone you admire in your sport?
That's actually a good question. And so I kind of like to look, now that I'm in the sport, like I really like to look at people's character in the sport, and like how they present themselves, and kind of when I've been to these big stages like OSG, and so I meet all of them that are, I'm talking about, so not the other women that are like in my range of pro level, but I'm talking about the pros of the pros, where we have like, you know, Olga and Lucy Underdown and Melissa Peacock and Sam Bellevue. I'd have to say Lucy Underdown was probably the sweetest, most kindest, genuine competitor that I've met. I met her at OSG, and she's probably my favorite, and I look up to her. And she has she has the best deadlift in the world. She's just like
Mm.
amazing at it. And so she's someone that I kind of look up to. But granted, like I said, I don't try to idolize people as people just because we're all like, we're all doing our own things and we all have our own goals and we all have like flaws and great things about us. And so I mostly just kind of draw like inspiration, I guess would be a good word from her, is that
Yeah.
she's positive. She's stays kind and genuine, even though she's gained a lot of public uh, publicity. She's got noticed a lot because she is the best deadlifter, and so
What's
but
her
yes,
name
she's
again?
still Lucy Underdown.
Lucy Underdown. Let me see.
Yeah,
Lucy
she's a super
Under.
sweet gal. So that would be probably the gal that I look up to most at the highest level in Strongwoman, just because, like I said,
Okay.
I met her and she was so kind.
Okay. I seen like this lady. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her. I don't know if I'm saying the right name. Her name is Debbie Moore. Like she's from Ireland or something
Oh,
like that.
Donna Moore.
Donna, yeah, Donna Moore. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's been in the sport forever, so
yeah,
she definitely has earned her spot in the highlight
yeah,
seat.
yeah. I seen her do them stones, like
Hmm.
picking up the how do you for that? That's
How
not
do you what?
easy. How do you train for that? Like picking them up because they're like 800 pound each, or they 800 pounds together.
No, every stone is different. So they go in
Oh,
different
okay.
sizes and different girths of stone as well. Typically, though, we use tacky. So that helps us to grip a hold of the stone. Sometimes they don't allow it, or sometimes they only let us use like tacky wipes. But for primarily lifting the heavy stones that you're talking about, we use a really good tacky. So it helps us grip a hold of the stone. But kind of think about just reaching down and bear hugging the stone and deadlifting it up to the lap, and then getting your hands into position where your biceps are in a good position that you won't pull it or anything, because that's a very common injury if you're doing it wrong. And then you have to use a triple extension and bring that stone up over the bar or onto a platform. All of the competitions I've done are usually stone to shoulder or stone over a bar. So those have been my primarily ones. And I'm working with like the best in stones, which is Travis. He's my coach. And so he actually has stones on my programming, even though I don't have stones currently coming up in my competition, but they will carry over with sandbags or a lot of other things that I'll be doing in strongman as well. So it's kind of important as a strongwoman competitor to be really good at stones.
Okay. He's all the rage. George Page says her traps are crazy. Yeah, I mean, you have like this bodybuilder. Like you could be a bodybuilder. Like you
Yeah,
ever
a lot
thought
of people
about it?
said that. Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
said that or think that. Even like on the commentary when I'm competing, I've had them say that, oh, she could be, ready for the stage. But bodybuilding, like, so we do a lot of bodybuilding exercises in our training,
Right.
periodically. It just depends. That's actually another thing that I love about strongman is because you're not going to get bored in your training. And if you are, you're probably not doing it right, because,
Mm.
you're always going to be doing things to help you become a better athlete. And that's the part where I like about that better than just bodybuilding, is that like I love being very athletic. I love to move with weights. I love to work on speed and jumps and power and explosiveness. And so yeah, as much as I like to like build the muscles up and like get them to be aesthetically looking good as far as musculature, I really like them to be able to perform. And sometimes you'll find that it doesn't really carry over from bodybuilding to strongman. You could have someone who is jacked but like try strongman stuff and not really be that good at it because it's just
Yeah.
different.
It's a
If that
different.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean
some
that.
can, don't get me wrong, but
No, I was saying like I remember I talked to somebody that was a bodybuilder, but she was doing strongman, but she had like an injury, I think in her leg or something like that. She's picking something up,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know, like she just felt like she didn't want to do it no more because because it was an intense injury. That I'm gonna put it like that. Yeah,
Absolutely. You want to be very cautious around that. So in strongman, you're literally taking a gamble of getting an injury. But as long as you're training right, training smart, using good technique form, I'm big on that. You'll even see in some of my videos, if you go to my page, some of the commentators
yeah,
when you're to them talk about me, they'll be like, one thing I admire about Porshia, she always has really good form. And so I'm like, I'm a personal trainer on the side, so I'm always watching people's form all day. Of course, I'm going to come in and want to have good form. And that's what I have Travis helping me say, hey, here's where we can kind of make that better, that technique smoother. Chances of you getting hurt go less, and then the chances of me getting a better lift go up. So it's really important because, like I said, I injured my ankle in the Arnold because, for one, I only got less than 2 hours of sleep the night before the finals. And then I did really good on the axle, the fixed axle clean and press with the Monster tires. I would have took first place, but I didn't always listen to my down commands. I kind of got so excited. It's like that rookie mistake. I was like zoned out, like, let's press. Okay, I locked out. Let's go again. And he's like, Porshia, you gotta wait for the down call. I was like, oh, okay. So I missed a rep at least on that. But regardless, I did well on that. And then I was going into the max keg over bar. So they just load up these kegs to weights. They jump them by like 25 pounds. I think I jumped in at 225. 225 pounds is what I did initially. And I got it over, no problem. 250 was there, but I was not close. I wasn't in the best position. And like I said, I think the fatigue from not sleeping the night before had just I slipped up at the top of the bar. The keg came down onto my knee and drove my ankle into the ground. And so it just imagine like a post being drove into the ground. That's what my ankle took, all that force. But praise God, I did not break no bones. All of the ligaments and tendons are healing up good. It's just been the slowest part of it all. But I was just able to run with 400 pounds in 8 seconds, 80 feet. So even that is coming along. I feel like by nationals, it should be like back to 100%. But it's just that thing, like somebody messaged me, they're like, Porshia, it's not if, it's when you get hurt in strongman. Like, it's inevitable. The sport is dangerous. But as long as you're being smart and safe, the chances go way down. But the person that you're talking about is probably very wise of them to like be cautious in that, because you don't want to like full on tear a muscle or, you know.
I'm sorry. Hold on for a second. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Distractions. Yeah. Let me read some chats. Would you like to break or set records in strongman?
I already actually have 5 state records in the log clean and press for max weight. So I have 5 max records out there in Montana, Wyoming, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Alabama. So I have that, and actually I could do enough to set a national record as well, but I have to be at a sanctioned event that is for a national record breaking with the judge that is certified for a national record. So I just kind of have to wait for that opportunity to open up, and I want to get the log and then the best log in the nation for my weight class.
How far do you see yourself doing strongman?
How long? Is that what you said?
Yeah. How long? Is it long term or short term?
Honestly, I just kind of take it like I feel really led by the Lord to do this. So that's why I'm continuing to do it, because actually when I first got started, I think it was around maybe before my first strongman competition, but when I was really dove deep into strength training, I was just like, Lord, if you're not in this, like, I don't want to waste my time, because I knew that this is going to be very time consuming. It takes a lot of money to be able to buy all of the equipment that you need for strongman and for competing, like traveling around and everything is really And so I was like, hey, Lord, if you're not in it, then I am. And I just really heard a small voice inside that just said, yes, keep going. And so I just go. And then the Lord just gives me the desires to keep on going. And so I do. I feel like when it's my time to be done, I have full confidence that He'll just kind of cut that desire for me within me to do it. And then I'll just call it quits. And, but that won't be like I'll be done with the gym. So, because working out is just part of a lifestyle for me. So even if I'm not, throwing a keg around or a stone, I'm going to still be in there doing my reps, my sets, just keeping my body healthy is really important. So,
yeah. Oh, you go to church often?
yeah, every Sunday. Yep. Well, I try to go every Sunday.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's not about religion. It's about relationship with the Lord. So I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not religious. Like I have a relationship with the Lord. Like He knows me. So why I go to church is because the pastor that's at our church, he's preaching out of the Bible the whole time. And there's people there that I know that know the Lord. And we come together to build one another up and to fellowship with one another. And so just like iron sharpens iron, so does one countenance of another person. And so where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am present. So there's just a lot of things like God tells us don't forsake the gathering together of the saints. And so that doesn't necessarily mean church. It just means getting together with other people who are on the same path, trying to do what God calls them to do, to glorify Him. And so that's kind of why I go. It's not really about religion or I marked my little church box off.
No, it's nothing wrong with that. It's like nowadays, people, you can't really talk about religion and stuff.
Oh yeah, and I
People,
think we should be able to talk about it and like not
yeah,
get offended, or it's not to condemn other people or to make other people feel bad. It's just like it is what it is as far as where we're at and what life is. And so I think it's important that we all seek out, because one day we're not going to be alive and we need to make sure that we know where we're going.
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good to have faith because sometimes when you're really struggling, it's you don't know, like it's hard to, like, I would say, believe in yourself, and you might
Mhm.
need some inspiration. Like,
Mhm.
if I'm saying that right, if you can understand if it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's that we can't, at the end of the day, there's certain things that we can control. And at the end of the
Yeah,
day, there's things that we can't control. And so it's
yeah,
very comforting knowing that there is a sovereign God out there who is in complete control of everything. And so, yeah, that's where, we can turn to when things aren't good, or we should turn to Him when things are good, because all blessings come from Him. And that's why I'm giving Him the glory for the strongman, that I'm really good at this sport. Is like God's given me a gift, and I just try to use it to glorify Him and to help bless other people, hopefully inspire other women, encourage other young girls watching that strong is healthy and pretty. It's not it's just not what we were grown up to be like. Oh, I don't want to get too bulky, or I don't want to lift weights. But at the end of the day, like that's what's going to help us when we're 80 years old, and our bones are going to be stronger. And it's just so important, and it's healthy. So that's kind of, I want to be that for other people. Like when I was their age, younger people, I didn't really have somebody to look up to like that. Most of the magazines were just filled with like really anorexic looking skinny women that you can tell by my bones, I'm just not a tiny individual. So I just want to be that encouragement to other people.
yes. I mean, some people like because you're similar to a bodybuilder. You're bulky.
Hmm.
Some people might be like, well, like women. Women are not supposed to be bulky, or like, do people question you about you being a strong woman? Like, why are you doing this? Why like
Yeah, primarily
doing this?
it comes from the older generations though. Like
Okay.
just because I feel like they grew up with this idea of just a really small frame, petite woman, like housewife type woman. And now it's 2025, and it's like athletic and fitness and muscular women are more in. So like the younger people get it, and you don't really get questioned by them as much. But a lot of the older crowds, I don't think that they kind of they just didn't grow up with that. So it's kind of like more informing them, rather, because I'll have like, older people just be like, oh, well, what happens when you stop all that? Like, is all of that muscle going to turn into fat? And it's just like, no, that's really not how it works. Like I could definitely lose the muscle, but it's not going to turn into fat. Could I
Mm.
eat horrible and gain fat? Absolutely. But so it's just kind of like educating people that might not know. I don't think that their intentions are bad, that they just don't have that. It's just new to them to see women stepping into, because back then, if you look up, there was some women that did like some gym stuff, but they were just doing like little baby weights, mostly like on machines that didn't even do anything
It
really.
depends how far
And
you
then
going.
like,
But it depends how far you going. Like
mhm.
when you say that, what time period you're referring to?
True, like the probably like the 1920s or
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
you know what
of
I mean?
course,
Like before, like
yeah.
1920s, 1930s, because that's like the older crowd here. So in my town is a retirement town. So I have
Oh,
people
okay.
that are 60 to 90 all the time in the gym. Like I'm constantly getting that age group of people because
Mm,
that's just primarily the group in my town. People my age, there's not very many of us here. So
mm.
that's what I'm saying. They just kind of, you have to educate them a little bit because they don't always know. But now, because of me doing so well in strongman, they're super inspired to be able, they're like very encouraging and love what I'm doing. And so it's just kind of like you have to understand that some people, though, they don't get it at first until you explain to them. But like you said, from that time frame, I don't know anything later than that, maybe like 1950s or 60s, they
There
might
were
start. But
there were women that they were strong too. Like they would work out, but it was very limited. You didn't really see that. Like if you did, like they would show like women that perform like circuits, like almost what you doing. They would
the
do,
circus, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like out there too much like that. And then, like I would say, like for me, like me noticing like strong muscular women were like in the magazines of newsstands and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Right.
Growing up, and then you would see them like on TV. But
Mhm.
nowadays, you don't really see that, the bodybuilding competitions, or I don't
Yep.
even really see strong men too much. I think I may have seen it on ESPN, but not
Mhm.
like that. And then when I was interviewing people, I started, I seen it online, like on YouTube and stuff like that. And I'll look at some of the events and stuff that and CrossFit
Yep,
and stuff.
CrossFit. So
Yeah,
CrossFit's kind of gotten a little bit more publicity and a little bit more like limelight, but
yeah,
strongman's really coming a long way. And so and even more than just that, because the men have always kind of had a platform in strongman, but like
yeah,
the women's is really gaining more viewership too. And so that's exciting, and also more opportunity in the pro realm for to receive prize money. And so that's super exciting and encouragement. And it's also cool that I can be like one of the uh forerunners inside of that time where we are getting a little bit more notice. So that's kind of exciting as well.
yeah. Let me read some of these because there's a lot of comments. Okay, he read that. If you won't do a strong woman, what would you like to do? I think you answered that with your personal trainer, right?
Yep.
That's your
Yep.
passion. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. What's that?
And out.
What's it like on? Well, you did say some of that. You train old people. That's what you do.
Yep, the
Oh,
older
okay.
generation. So primarily the people that, and I should say one-on-one training. I do train other
Yeah.
clients and through coaching. I'm a coach through Modus, Anthony Dial. If you look him up, and we do Modus online coaching, so I could coach someone from anywhere through that platform. However, like one-on-one down at Gotchi in the gym that I'm at, primarily my clientele is 60 and over. I do have a few younger ones, but that's just primarily the age of Thermopolis. And so, and we love that. I mean, I love being able to help these ladies. I have a 77-year-old lady. She actually did do a bodybuilding competition prior to training with me, but I have worked with her now. She doesn't really have a goal to step back on stage, but she just has a goal of like getting stronger and keeping her muscles defined, and she is so strong. She's hit all of her maxes just in the last year or so. So she's 77 and hitting like the most amount of weight that she's done on any other of her lifts. And if you just look at her, she's very, very jacked for a 77-year-old, and she loves that she can go. She's still at her, she has a lot of acreage, and she'll just throw her hay bales and like just do all of the work, while people that are on the road driving by, they just can't believe that she's able to do what she can do at her age. And so she's inspiration for me, that like, hey, you can keep going, you can keep doing these things. And just because people say you're old doesn't mean that you have to stop like lifting and doing strong things.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because when you do get older, you do feel you end up, like, if you don't take care of yourself, you end up going to the rehab center and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And that's kind of what I don't want my people that I'm helping, and the people that I'm helping, like, I don't want them to fall and break bones. Like, I want them to be really strong, be able to go up the stairs, go on their trips, pack their own bags. Like, I want them to be self-sufficient, and just in every day-to-day life tasks, make it so much easier so that they can enjoy their loved ones and their grandkids and their family. And so it's fun when I hear all of their stories. And so one of the younger gals that I have, she has some medical conditions, and she came to start doing some strength training with me, and she wasn't able to lift her big old dog into her car. But I want to say like a month or 2 months of working with me, she's like, Porshia, she's like, you're never going to believe this, but I can lift my dog into my car now by myself. And so just something like that, though, makes my heart so happy that they're able in their day-to-day lives be able to like accomplish things. Like, that means a lot to me.
yeah. I remember Jill Mills back in the day when ESPN used to have strong women camps and what competitions. Yeah, and then you got what's training like for you during the week?
Yeah, so Travis Ormeyer, he's my coach, and he has me doing different phases of training throughout the whole year, depending upon what competitions I'm going to, how long of breaks I have in between them, when I need to prioritize peak week, and or peaking in general. But right now, this last week was really a lot of speed work, and a lot of isometric work. So, it's probably in bodybuilding, they do the same thing. I mean, because you're locking into a position and just pulling or pushing with all of your might for 30 seconds to just really get those muscles engaged, and really like your central nervous system primed to be able to lift through those heavy lifts. That's this week. I have a couple of more weeks into that strategic programming, and then like I'll take a deload week, and then I'm going to move right into 5 weeks of peaking for nationals and peaking for Pro Strongman League. And so what those kind of workouts entail primarily are going to be just similar to bodybuilding, in the sense that we are going to prioritize shoulders, except but like, we don't flat bench press very often. It's just not much of lifting and strongman that we need that for, but we do need the shoulders to be super strong in all forms. So we'll do a lot of like incline bench or things of that nature, dumbbells as well. But we do lots of accessory work like curls and tricep stuff. And then we also do for legs, so my leg day on Tuesday, it took me over 3 hours to get everything done. And I wasn't dilly-dallying around. So it's a lot of work. And so then on our rest days, it's like really important for me to prioritize. Like, I actually just bought a full spectrum infrared sauna for my bedroom. So I have like my bed, my infrared sauna, shower. Like, it's so nice because it's just kind of like my little recovery station. And then I also, being here in Thermopolis, Wyoming, we have the world's largest mineral hot springs. So I'll go soak in the hot tubs. They get up to like 107 degrees, and just soak in there for half an hour. And a lot of our older folks really look to the minerals to be a healing water. And so I'm going to use that to my advantage, so I can recover really well. And then just making sure prioritizing water and protein and stuff. But yeah, literally we're working all of the same muscles as the bodybuilders do. We're just working to get them really strong, though. So not only just to get them big, but to get them strong.
Yeah. Do you pay attention to bodybuilding or any other sports?
I don't really pay attention a lot to it. Like, obviously, because
Yeah.
on Instagram and everything, all of my stuff is fitness. Like, I'm going to get fed a lot of stuff from like different bodybuilders and stuff like that. So I see that part of it, but like just to watch a bodybuilding competition, I've never like been to one. I had to pop through when I was at the Arnold doing my strongman competition at the Arnold. I had to go through the area where they were doing that to get to my car because I lost my car, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, but yeah, that was the only time in real life that I've actually even seen it, and that was just in passing, which was really cool for them. It's just not something that like it's not my jam. Like I wouldn't want to get up there in that and impose. Like I like to like flex and pose in my Instagrams just for funsies, but
Yeah,
like
I noticed. I
yeah,
see.
but I have
I
no
see.
skill in it. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe you say that now, and maybe it might lead to something. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. That's all. You
Right.
know. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I love
oh
competing. Oh, go ahead. What was that comment?
no, it was. I read. I've highlighted that comment before. He says there is a big difference between the religious and having faith.
100%. That's what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. So, and
Right.
that's why I definitely don't want people to realize like I am not a religious individual. Like I have a lot of faith and I have the power of the Holy Spirit. Like my faith was true and genuine repentance. And so that faith now is every day. Like when I wake up, I know that the Lord is directing my steps and that He's convicting me and changing me and renewing me. And I pray, create a clean heart in me, renew a right spirit within me. And so having that faith is what that's when I know that when it's my time to go, I know where I'm going because I have that faith that is secured. Religion isn't going to get anybody there. And if we read Matthew really well, the Lord really shows us that. So people have to be careful because religion can be one way that you can easily be deceived just by going and doing things. Like it's wonderful. We all should strive to be better humans. Absolutely. Really, the good in me that is like truly changed though comes from God and he gets the glory for it. But like he will be in you to like think about other people besides yourself. So like if the little old lady struggling, you can help her across the street, that kind of thing. But just by doing that isn't going to get me some sort of like reward, if that makes sense. So that's the difference between religion and like faith. Like I'm stepping out in faith and doing it because that's the right thing to do, not because it's like going to earn me some sort of points with God.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up, going to church and stuff like that, and I just felt like when I got older, I always had questions, and it just the church didn't really, for me, it didn't really answer my questions, and
Absolutely.
so I kind of would do like other spiritual practices, and like majority of the times those spiritual practice kind of answered my questions than me going to church. I
Yeah.
didn't really thought it was bad, but it just didn't move me at times, so
Unfortunately, there is a lot of church hurt and a lot of religions that I will just say it that's false. It's not really like they're not preaching God's word and there's no power of God there. And so when that leaves it, it's just room for the enemy to get people deceived, to get people angry, to get people just like wanting to turn away from God rather than like truly seek Him, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
church is definitely something you have to be careful of because there's a lot. Actually, there's probably more false and bad churches out there than there are true and genuine and good ones. And
You
so
know what?
that's why
You
you
know
gotta be
want to hear
careful.
you want to hear something funny? Like I heard on I've understand that there were like Satan worshipers before they were Satan worshipers. They started being in church. That's the fun.
Hmm.
They started having like a Christian faith, and no disrespect, but they would kind of question certain things, and then they moved to satanic stuff or atheism, you
Right.
know so that
Yeah.
that itself is kind of like, wow, okay. But but you're right. I do agree with you on like spirituality than religion. I think spirituality, it's like evaluating yourself and improving on improving yourself, how to improve in your daily life. So yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely just differences there. So, but like I said, if anybody ever wanted to talk about like faith and my testimony and what the Lord's done, like I would go into details like all the time on that. Like a lot of people, that's, that I always pray for the Lord to bring the people into my past that he choose that like I would have be able to speak to them, like the Lord would use me for that. And so that's something that's always been an answered prayer, is that God always brings people that like, I can relate to, or they can relate to, so that we can, just see what God has for us in that day.
Yeah. Was you always like going to church, or you stopped,
I've
or
like, kind of been born and raised into the church.
oh, okay.
As far as like my family's always been believers. We've always went to like a Baptist church and stuff. And so I remember, I think I was about 7 years old when I got baptized. But then the Lord showed me about this whole thing that we're talking about, that it's not about religion. It's not about having this blind faith like we believe in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny when we're little. The demons believe and tremble. That don't get them to heaven. So it's about really understanding our true need of Jesus, of what he has done, and really repenting and saying, hey, like, I'm a sinner, like, and I know that the way I'm going is going to go to hell, and I really need you, Jesus. And so when I did that, that was back in 2017. And then I totally experienced the power of God like no other. Like I felt the Holy Spirit enter me and instantly like give me a peace that I couldn't conjure up from anything of this world. The enemy likes to lie and give you false peace in a lot of things, whether it be marijuana or drinking or drugs or sex or you name it. And you might conjure up some sort of peace with these things, but at the end of the day or at the end of the week, you still kind of feel empty. You still don't feel quite fulfilled. Well, the Holy Spirit, he fills us up, and it's a peace that you just can't understand. And so then when I know that that's true, and that's just what the Bible says, so all the things test what the Bible says. And then I just knew that, okay, in that moment, like, this is true faith. This is true salvation. This is truly knowing the Lord. And so from 2017 on, my life has just been like, okay, God, it's your calling. It's my life. It's the life that you've given me, and I want to glorify you in it. And so it's kind of cool that he's used things like, so Romans 8:28 says that he will work all things together for good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purposes. So I see him now, all the things that I struggled with as a kid, of growing up with bad body images, growing up with eating disorders, growing up with a lot of things because of things that people have said to me, things people have done to me, choices that I've made because I've thought that was going to bring me happiness. He's then turned it around and helped me to be able to have a platform and to use it all for good and for his glory. And so I just think it's so awesome. And that's like, now I know who I am and whose I am. So if people were to come at me, things that might break me before. So back to like maybe what you were mentioning, like I've had people say rude things to me, like,
Yeah.
that somebody even told my kids like, your mom has a penis, or they'll say, yeah, she's got to be using steroids, or I just get lots of things all the time. And honestly, it's just like, it is what it is. People can think what they want to think, they can say what they want to say, but I know who I am and whose I am, which I am a child of God. I belong to the Lord. I am worthy. I am worthy because he made me worthy. And like I don't have to live in other people's validations. Like, I'm validated through God. I have a husband who loves me, who loves the Lord, and I have 2 kids that I try to raise in a way that would glorify God, and that they could grow up and be well-mannered, well-respected people in society that other people will look upon for inspiration as well. And so that's my goal. And if people want to come against me, then that's on them. Because I always say, hurt people. That person's
Yeah.
just hurting, because if they have to take it out on you, it's something's not right in them.
Yeah. Do your kids or your husband go to your competitions?
Yes, they don't get to go to all of them, just because financially, honestly, we wouldn't be able to do that, like plane tickets
Yeah.
and stuff,
Right.
But the big ones, like to nationals, we're all going. We all saved to go to that. And also we're gonna go do some zip lining, because it's in North Carolina. So we live in Wyoming, so we're clear on the west side, and we're going to the east side. So we're gonna go do some zip lining afterwards, and then I'll take them to the beach, because they've never been to the beach. And so we just have a lot of mountains around here, a lot of fishing, hiking, hunting, that sort of thing. But down there, it'll be kind of a different scenery for them. And so that'll be super exciting. And it's a huge blessing as well, because like I said, we don't really get to do a lot of traveling outside of the states that border Wyoming. So they're going to be able to see and experience that. We went to Texas in 2023, where I took second in the nation down there. And so they thought that was, when we got off the plane, my kids were instantly just like, oh my goodness, this, because it was the humidity just like hit us, and we're not used to humidity in here in Wyoming. It's just really dry here. So they were just like, what is this place? They said. So yeah, it's just really fun to be able to take the kids when I can. And also, it's encouraged them a lot. And my son's a wrestler, and my daughter did her first strongman competition last year, and she took first out of 9 girls, and she was deadlifting 160 pounds at 10 years old. And so genetically, she's just also been given a lot of strength. And so whatever she chooses to do, I try not to push anything on my kids, and I let them be able to grow up and choose for themselves what they find interest in, what they are passionate about, what they want to do. But I always, at the end of the day, encourage my kids to make healthy choices, healthy lifestyle. Exercising is important, eating right is important, and then obviously having their own relationship with the Lord, because I can't have that for them either. So, but even if I'm sick and I can't go to church, my son will come and say, Mom, like, I want to go. So I think that's pretty awesome. That's him choosing it for himself, not me pushing it on him.
That's good. That's good. I like that what you said, because you're being a role model for them and stuff. Yeah. So giving them like thinking on their own. Thinking on their own terms. Yeah, that's cool.
I want to grow them up so that when they're not with me, you can make their own wise choices on their own.
Yeah, and George says, like Bernie Mac would say, if people don't like you, well, you're Christian. I can't say all that, but you get the point. F them. Yeah.
Forget them. Right? Forget them.
Yeah. Where do you live? And she answered that she's from Wyoming, and she's a fitness trainer. Well, I could show your Instagram. Huh?
Oh, I said show him that little clip again or something.
Yeah, you doing your stuff. Tell me, you see this? Do you see your page? Because it takes time for me to. Let me see. Hold on.
Now I do. Now I see it.
Oh, okay. All right. This is you flexing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, you have like bodybuilding potential.
Yeah, I know those videos get the most views, so that's why they're on there. But like, if you'll scroll through my training, like primarily that's what I like to post, is like my training content or like my competition content. It's really fun to highlight, mostly for like a memory too, or if I'm going back to show someone, if they ask me what I'm doing, it's kind of nice to just pull that up than to go through my phone. But yeah, no, a lot of the posing ones, if you've noticed, they'll get the most views and like comments and stuff on them. So that's why they're there to mostly gain a little bit more following, kind of gain a little bit more to strongman, because when they come to my page, they'll be like, oh, she's not a bodybuilder, she does strongman. So
yeah, because a lot of guys, they're really into the female muscle, and so they see you, they like, wow, they get mesmerized and excited and stuff like that, so
yeah, I think it's just like you said.
Do you get people Do you get people DMing you though?
I didn't at first.
Like
sometimes I do. Sometimes I do now, but I just delete it.
Okay.
Mostly just like, unless it was like I looked into yours, I was like, oh, he's an actual like person that does interviews and stuff. So.
Yeah, thank you, because some people, they see it and they be ignoring me and stuff like that. So I'm glad you responded. Yeah, because you told me that you were busy and you was doing a competition, and I just said, like, let's wait to, So you play basketball?
Oh, that was just a 3-on-3 back at the beginning. Like, it was one of the pictures I could pick from each year, and that was back at the beginning. It was like 2015, right? 2015. So we just have, we had a local 3-on-3 down here that I did always as a kid. And then once like you're an adult, and sometimes you throw together like a team of 3 or 4 girls and play together down here. It's kind of fun. I don't do it anymore though.
Okay.
I try not to actually now do any other sports besides my training with Strongman, and the reason being is because like that then takes more of a risk of getting injured, and then it's like I'm already doing so much to my body and tearing it down so much. My central nervous system can
Right.
only handle so much, you know? So I kind of just
When
stick to Strongman stuff.
when do you have like rest days and all that stuff?
Primarily Wednesday and Sunday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I mean it's really intense what you're doing.
It
Yeah.
really is. I mean,
Like you
honestly, just a little bit of clips, you can't even tell. But when you're, 2, 3 hours into a grueling workout, if people really knew, and one thing about it is too, is a lot of strongman gyms, their strongman gyms, like I just incorporate it down into my gym, but like I don't have a team of people to like cheer me on, support me, help me load the weights, do anything like I'm doing this all by myself. And also one of the other gals that I work out with, her name's JC. She's there, but she can only do so much and she's not
mm,
in strongman or anything. So really it's just kind of all on me. And so I find too that when I go to competitions, I have that much more adrenaline and excitement about people cheering and stuff for you because when I'm working out, it's all just me.
yeah, yes. So this is the yoke.
Yeah,
Okay.
the yoke into log, and that yoke into log will be at Pro Strongman League. So
Yeah. Damn. It wow, it don't look too heavy.
it is. It's
But
500 pounds.
it's oh, okay.
I
No, I'm
actually
just saying it don't look too heavy, but
No, I make it
but
look
I'm
that way.
just
I actually just had a gal. She's actually really good at strongman, and she just messaged me
yeah,
before I turned my call on with you, and she goes, Porshia, she goes, how in the she goes, what is your secret about the yoke that you make it look like weightless? And I told her, I
yeah,
said, I don't know what to tell you. It's just one of my strengths. Oh, there's my coach. Yeah, that's Travis. Or my pro.
yeah,
He's a coach.
yeah,
He's amazing, you guys. He really knows what he's talking about. But back to that gal, she just didn't. And I said, it's kind of like you with
yeah,
deadlifts. Like I was like, you're just good at them, and I'm not, and I'm just good at yoke, and some people aren't. It's just that sometimes things with strongman is just like talented, and then also you have to like just try to train to get better, but it might not ever be something that you're like the best at.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I've been watching it, and it's not very easy. Like I don't
No.
think I would want to do it. Like yeah, everybody can't do that. But you like so you did like marathons. Like how was the marathon for you?
The training was just different. I'm kind of one of those people like if I want to
Yeah,
try something and I want to do it, I'm gonna go all out. And so, just while I was doing that, it was just every week, getting in the amount of miles that I needed to get in each week, whether I was going on a 6 mile day or I was going on a 12 mile day. I'd have my husband follow me in a bike with some water and some
right.
snacks, and like I would just get after it. But it wasn't something like I enjoyed from the bottom of my heart. Like I truly enjoy what I do with strongman. It's just more of a passion. And so I can at least, be able to, when I'm working with a client that they are into running, like I know I've been there, I've experienced that. So I kind of like to be able to, if I'm going to help somebody else, I kind of want to have that experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Like, do you ever did do like calisthenics?
Calisthenics.
Like I
So
don't
I
know,
was
like push-ups. So
Yeah, I was a gymnast growing up. And so that's kind of where I have, if you see in
okay,
my videos, I can do like toes to bar or walking on my hands. I can do back bends or back walkovers. I can do a lot of things with just my body weight. I teach a core class 2 times per week as well. And we do tons of planks and upper body work there, a lot of core work. So I can do like the pegboard, and we have a climbing rock wall, just a small one in our gym. And then, but right now, working on my grip strength, I'll do lots of like hangs or like finger hangs. So we do that. We do push ups, all of the things. So yeah, I can do pull ups like nothing. So it's pretty exciting.
how many pull-ups could you do? Like out of
Uh,
curiosity.
well, I don't really just go like it's not usually in my
Yeah.
program to go in and max out reps on
Okay.
pull ups, so I can't tell you, but I'm sure I could do 20.
I'm sure you could. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I wanted to ask you a crazy question, like if but I don't think you ever did it. But have you ever like picked somebody up and do squats?
My husband.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh you actually did.
Yeah, I picked him up before and squatted with him.
Oh okay,
He said,
okay.
"Don't put that online."
There's a lot of people that do it. Like there was a strong woman that the way she picked this guy up, and I was really impressed and did like some like I would say like 10 squats, like, and he was like muscular, like he wasn't. I wouldn't say he
He
was
was.
like that average, huh?
Yeah, you were saying he wasn't light.
Yeah, he wasn't like yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay tuned with the strong women and the strong men and stuff.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
there will be live links to my next ones coming up. So Nationals always has a live stream and it's usually always free. And then Pro Strongman League has a live stream and I want to say it's free too, but I'm not 100%. Sometimes they cost a little bit of money, but not much. And then there'll be a live stream for Static Monsters in Dublin, Ireland when I go in August. And so the
yeah,
next three competitions that I'm doing, you will be able to watch them and I'll post the links on my page. So if like y'all follow and want to stay tuned, I'll post them into my stories and stuff.
yeah. Do they do are there like a lot of people that's like an audience, like how many people that do you notice there? Is it a
How
lot
many?
or yeah? How many like would you
Um,
say?
it really depends on the competition that you're doing. At
Yeah,
national, there is a lot of people because you have about 600 plus athletes, let alone their if they bring their coaches or their spouses or friends or whatever they bring. So nationals is really huge wherever they have that, and then OSG, it's growing as far as like people turning out for it and coming to it, but it's one of the most watched, I feel like, strongman competitions that we have as far as like viewership online through the live stream. And ADL Live does an amazing job from their live streams for all of our strongman stuff. And then, like the Arnold, like we just got back from, everything at the
yeah,
Arnold's very well publicized. So, Strongman Corp does a great job of getting people to stream that, people to show up. Like there was so many people at the Arnold, so that was super
yeah,
exciting too because it's nice to have that when you go. Like I said, it kind of really just adds to that. Like your adrenaline's up, you're ready to do your best, and you put in the work, and it's time to show. You know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely get a decent turnout for those bigger shows. I've kind of haven't been competing at really like smaller levels of like state comps or even regionals lately. So those aren't quite as big, but they're not also as like where you get noticed as much either. So the bigger comps, I'll say though, they're really turning out to be quite popular and like have a lot of crowd.
yeah, yeah. And I remember Dog D. Marie used Squat Montel Williams. Yeah, it's a bodybuilder, Doug D. Marie.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so do you ever get nervous like before a competition? I know that's the basic question. I'm sure you do. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you go through stages. So like when you're preparing up for it, it's all about just grinding away, putting the work. And then like as you get a couple weeks out, you start to get those like nerves, like those butterflies of just like, but then I just kind of use it to take time to like go through the steps of things. Like I'll write down what event I'm doing, all of the equipment that I need for that event. Just so that way it takes the guesswork out. Come to, because you got to think about like if you're packing to go, you don't want to forget something that you really use in that competition, or
yeah,
you also don't want like, so say your straps, you're lifting straps, right? You're not going to be able to pull as much without them because you're going to be all relying upon your grip. Well, in that event, you're not testing your grip. You're testing about how many reps or how much weight you can pull. So it's important that you have your straps because you can use them. So things like that. You want to make sure you have all of your equipment that you need. So my mind's constantly thinking of all of those things. And then I like to run through the events of like, I try to get out of the mind of like, if they go negatively, like I try to think about me doing all of the events positively. So like me actually finishing things, getting the lift with the right technique, all the things. So going through that. And then once we get to like comp day, it's like, I don't know, you're with all of the other competition, and so you're kind of going off all of that energy, and then it's just I take a lot of breaths. I try to remember to always like pray before I go, especially not only just to do well, but like be safe. Like it's a dangerous thing, and so I want the Lord to watch over me to be safe and like also perform to my best abilities. Like I've put in the work. It's time to like show that. And so I would say all of the competitions like went really, really well, except OSG of 2024. Um, I was capable of so much more. It just come comp day, it wasn't there. And sometimes that happens to people, and people have to realize it could have been a moment in time where I said, you know what? I didn't do it. Okay, I'm done. But I just said no. It fueled me to like, I need to like be more prepared, be better. I don't know what went wrong, but I'm gonna get back up and go again. And then I had Travis take over all of my training at that point, and so I kind of just rely on him because he's has 33 plus years of strength training experience and 20 like three or more in strongman experience. And so just having him help me to like know that I'm at the right stage of my training so that when I'm going in, my central nervous system isn't fried. And I think that's what happened, is that I kind of like fried out my central nervous system or something, because I wasn't even able to do what I was capable of doing. And so there's just so much more that goes into strongman than just what it appears to be. So and then also like, I mean, we didn't talk on the subject, but like back to like people, accusing you always of like taking steroids or all kinds of drugs to get where you are. Like, I mean, you could probably tell by my voice, by my appearance, that I don't take a lot of drugs. Like, I have to take hormone replacement therapy because my testosterone was 8 back in 2023 when I won second in the nation. Like, I had bottom out levels. I felt like crap. I was tired all the time. My hair, like, everything was just awful. So symptomatic. My thyroid levels are super low. I was on Synthroid, but I weaned myself off of that back in March of 2022 or 2023. So I got on NP thyroid and I go to the bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And like now I finally feel like a normal human, but all my levels are like in the normal women's range. So does that help me? Maybe, but not to be where I'm at. I built all of my muscle and basically all of my strength off of bottomed out testosterone levels. So that should be encouraging to anyone who's watching that thinks that they can't get very far being a natural athlete. But I will say also that we all have different genetic makeup too. Like I have a tendency where like my thermic effect of food and like my ability to put on muscle just based off the amount of calories, like the amount of protein and stuff that I use, like it's very high. Like my body wants to use it. And if I'm not putting in the work, I could get fat pretty easy too, if that makes sense. Like, because my body is either going to store it or it's going to build and burn it.
Yeah.
Based off what I'm doing. And so I think everybody's just different. And so that's just me. And it's just something like I choose personally to take only what's healthy for me and what's healthy for my body. And I'll go as far as I can go. But my goal isn't to be like clear up there with the really big women that have used a lot of stuff. Like I just
as long as you're not taking it to the extreme, that's the best thing I could tell you.
I feel like it is the best to do. Yep. And it's the best like thing for like, as far as even for like my influence of like for my family and friends and people that follow me. Like I don't want to, I don't know, it's just that's what I want to project, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. It's a lot what you're saying, because I'm not really like competing. I'm not even a bodybuilder like that, like
right.
As far as I've kind of did calisthenics and do meditation and all that stuff. I really don't know like, because I hear a lot of the bodybuilders, they talk about like PEDs and certain substances that they use, and that's kind of like it's like talking Chinese to me and stuff. So I just hear it.
You are too. I don't know what is either. Like I've just heard of it. I don't know what it is, but I can just tell you all of what I do like know about. And like I said, I just only use what's healthy and good and gets me into like a good female condition. And then I just let God build up my strengths and help me in my weaknesses. And then I do what I do, and that's about it.
Yeah, like I know you touched about diet. How many times do you eat a day?
I would say I have about 6 meals planned, and
Oh,
they're all very macro oriented to where I get like
okay.
between 140 um to on my higher days of like if I'm in like more of a bulking phase up to about 200 grams of protein. But like the minimum amount is like 140 grams of protein. And then on my training days I have around 200 grams of carbohydrates, and then on my like rest days is about like 150 grams of carbohydrates. And those are made up of like I eat like Ezekiel bread or jasmine rice, or so I eat like really healthy carbs, apples, a lot of vegetables, so things like that. And then in my fats I eat like olive oil or coconut oil, avocados, uh, just healthy fats, butter, organic butter, that sort of thing. But and my fats aren't like real high because they're just so calorically dense. And so for me, being a weight class athlete, so I compete in the 160 or 165, depending upon what federation I'm in. Typically, all my bigger shows have always been 160 pounds. So I have to make sure that I don't like I have to stay in a spot. So my macros are important because I can't like just eat whatever I want whenever I want, or else I could like gain more than I should in order to stay in that weight class without having to do like a big water cut. So that's why I prioritize mainly really monitoring my nutrition and getting the right amounts of things. For one, I know this, I perform better too because my body's actually getting what it needs, where rather than just kind of being willy nilly is like, oh, I think I got enough. And then maybe you didn't, or maybe you got too much junk and not enough good stuff, that sort of thing. So nutrition really is super important to me. And I think then
Yeah.
that's also why it does carry over to my performance. It carries over to my aesthetics, because it's prioritized in my home. We don't like kids that come over for my friends, my kids as friends, they're just like, your mom has no snacks around here. And I'm like, yeah, this mom does have snacks. How about you grab some fruit? Or, I'm listing off all of these healthy things. And they're just like, well, that's not the snacks we want. And I'm
Yeah.
like, sorry. I guess if you
They,
want those, just bring those with you when you come, I told them.
yeah. Were you always like strict with dieting and stuff like that? But
I
like,
think, yeah, it stems back from being young and being super afraid. So I have a family that is always struggled with weight, and like
mm,
I've always been bullied about weight and bullied about size and bullied about pressures to be thin since I was young. And so I've had probably, I guess actually somebody asked me the other day what my biggest fear was. I guess I didn't even think about that. I guess for the longest time, one of my biggest fears was to like get too fat or to be too big. And so
mm,
um, to me, eating has always been either something that like I would starve myself or like, binge and purge, or it would be something that I would, now being healthy and in Christ is like, I want to like, what does food do, and like how can I eat right, and how can I fuel my body good, and like enjoying actually being able to eat, because I feel like it's such a blessing that I don't have to feel like I'm starving myself, because like I've been on plans where like 8 almonds are one serving of protein. It's just like,
mm.
what was I thinking? So
Yeah.
to actually be able to eat is super important to me, based off of all the things that I've been through and trauma that I've endured in the past, and then kind of cultivating me though, like shifting all that to create to who I am today, and like how it also helps me to become like a really elite level athlete.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, that sounds tough. Like, just dealing with that, it's not very easy. Especially with eating. Yeah, I come from big eaters.
Mhm.
And sometimes it goes against you. Eating too much. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And it's kind of the culture, like you said. So it's kind of almost like really being more disciplined in that, to be like, okay, what do I need? How much do I need based off of what I'm doing and like how I want my body to perform. And so I really enjoy that part of that mentality of everything, because to me, it makes me feel more comforted in what I'm doing rather than just living in some sort of like fear or anxiety, or like not having structure. I don't think I do well with that.
yeah. Like where you're from, like, do they have a lot of fast food places?
In Thermopolis, we really don't have like a ton of restaurants or even fast food. I think here in town, we just have fast food wise that you guys would know of is, of course, a McDonald's and a Taco John's, a Pizza
Oh,
Hut's here too. And I don't eat at any of those places. So,
oh. Okay, yeah, because where I'm at, it's a lot. It's a lot of varieties. I'm in New York City, and if you hungry, you're gonna go wherever. I try not to go like to McDonald's too much. I've
mm,
worked in McDonald's, and a lot
I
of
can't.
grease there and stuff like that. And I would see like the same people like go there every day and stuff, like especially like these high school kids, and not even just the high school kids but other people from work, from the jobs and all that stuff. And yeah, very
Yeah,
stressful environment.
for sure. I just feel like it just doesn't fill your body. So it
Yeah,
does really no point. You're just
yeah,
wasting calories kind of to in my the way I feel about it. So to me, like I just want to eat food that is like gonna give me some sort of reward. And that's kind of like with alcohol. Like I don't drink. So
right,
and it really is just useless calories. It's not helping you at all. It's only hurting
yeah,
you actually. So
right. I,
I put in
I
too
almost,
much work to have it be like
of course,
do
of
that.
course. Yeah, I mean, it'd be down the drain. It's
Mhm.
that's a lot what you do. Like I see like the training that you do. It's not very easy. I don't think I would want to do it too much. I mean, I would work out, but it like it that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm a guy. Just saying that.
Mhm.
Food is both a tool and a weapon when doing fitness. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I don't want to take you hostage. I really appreciate you in your story and the training that you do. Do you have any last words of encouragement for the viewers about strongman or anything like that?
Mm. No, I think like just I guess the last like words of encouragement is like even if it's not just like strongman like while you're listening or any of that as far as like what your goals are, I just feel like everybody has certain things that maybe they aspire to do, whether it's to go on this hike with the family or um go on a big trip or go on a hunting trip to go get this animal that you need to hike up a mountain for, whatever it is, whatever your goals are, just know that you can just put in one day at a time, and consistency is key. And you can do far more than you ever think you could as long as you just put in the work and you stay put the pedal to the metal. And so I encourage you to do that, whatever it is. And that, like I said, there's no way I would have thought, like at first, back in 2022, when I went to that first competition, that I'd ever actually be as high of a level as I am into strong women now. So that's kind of been exciting to me to see that, sometimes surreal. Like it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I am where I'm at. But that's because I was consistent and I put in the work, put in the time. The times that I had doubt, I just kept saying, you can do this. Believe in yourself, like we were talking about earlier. Believe in what God has called you to do. And so just strive for that and to do your best. That's all that you can do. And it's going to be so much better than just wasting away and wasting time and not ever reaching your full potential.
Yeah. Was you always like a fitness trainer before strongman?
Yeah, so I've been personal training for quite a while. And
Mm.
I've been teaching classes and working down at the gym since 2014. So
Okay. Yeah.
I've been in the fitness realm for a long time.
Okay. Okay. All right, I think that's it. Because I was thinking something else. Like did you get like a certificate or
Yeah, NASM,
like
the National Academy of
uh,
Sports Medicine. Yep. I went
oh,
and got my
okay.
training through that.
Oh,
And
okay.
through then you have to take continuing courses. So I did like a certified nutrition coaching and then certified weight loss specialist. So, and really those ones mostly because that's kind of what I see a need for the most, especially like in my area of people, in my area of influence. And so
Right.
and then I also work at upstairs is a rehab, and so I have a bunch of therapists and stuff upstairs, so they do a lot of injury rehabilitation and stuff. And then say that person graduates, they could come down, either do some training with me to help keep them strong and healthy, or else they can just graduate and do their own thing down in the gym. And so it's kind of nice that we have that here. Tiny town. We only have like 2,700 people here, but we have a gym that's 19,000 square feet, so that's pretty awesome.
27 people there where you're at?
2,700. So
2,700. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not still very much though.
Yeah, no. Compared to New York City. Yeah, compared to New York City, no. That's not. I don't know if I would be able to live there. Yeah, I probably.
A lot of people don't. And the weather here, we get negative 30 degrees. So if you can't do the cold weather, like the really extreme cold, to like sometimes in the summer we can get up to like 102, 100 up there, maybe 105. But so we kind of get the variation, and our weather is like really dry, really cold. A lot of wind around Wyoming, but we have a lot of people come move here and they just don't last. They can't stay. It's not for them.
Yeah.
Whether it's shopping, because we barely have anything. Like our nearest like big place, what you would consider like kind of being big, is probably like Billings, Montana, and that's a 4-hour drive away.
Oh. So, was you always living there, or
what's that?
Were you always living in where you're at?
Here. Yep, I was born and raised here. I've never been somewhere else. So.
Oh, okay.
Never been out of Thermop.
Oh, okay. I guess you used to it, because sometimes we complain about the weather here in New York. You know, it's like sometimes it's cold. Like even yesterday it was hot, then it's cold. We get the bipolar weathers now.
We do too. So then I guess we're kind of twins there. Yeah, I always say if you don't like it, just hang out a few minutes, it will change.
Yeah, he said, all the way George Pay said, you pretty much live in the boonies.
Yeah, the boonies. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, I'm out in the boonies.
Yeah. So that's my first time hearing that word, but you know that you guys kind of
the boonies all the time.
Yeah. So well, anyway, you know, I thank you for giving me your time, and I really appreciate you giving me a chance to talk to you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah. All right. That's a wrap, guys.